Most people think they're losing the money game because they lack information. That's the first lie you were sold. In reality, you weren't battling a lack of data, you were being hunted by a multi-billion-dollar industry that weaponizes your amygdala against your bank account. The most dangerous financial advice doesn't come from a scammer in a dark alley. It comes from the person you trust most, designed specifically to trigger a biological response that bypasses your logic entirely. By the end of this, you'll see the invisible script used by the world's most successful financial gurus to keep you in a state of perpetual anxiety. More importantly, I'm going to reveal the one industry tactic they save for the very end of their seminars, the one that ensures you never actually become financially independent. Imagine you're sitting at your desk, staring at a screen. You see a headline, "The Great Market Crash is Days Away." Your heart rate spikes. Suddenly, that sensible long-term investment plan you had feels like a suicide mission. You find a specialist online who promises a shelter from the storm. You feel a wave of relief. You follow their advice, pay their fees, and buy their courses. You think you're being proactive. You aren't. You're experiencing a hijacked nervous system. The psychology behind this is called fear-induced regression. When we are afraid, our brains revert to a more primitive state. We stop looking for growth and start looking for a protector. Financial advice often functions as a psychological pacifier. The industry doesn't sell ROI, it sells the temporary removal of the fear they created in the first place. It's a closed-loop system. Create the fire, then sell the extinguisher. But here is the counterintuitive truth. The more certain a piece of financial advice sounds, the more likely it is to be a psychological trap. Absolute certainty is the bait. In a complex, chaotic global economy, no one has the map. Yet, your brain craves a narrative fallacy. We would rather follow a confident person into a cliff than stand alone in the fog. This is why you see the same doom and gloom cycles every 6 months. It's not a forecast, it's a customer acquisition strategy. To break this cycle, you need to install 3 psychological firewalls immediately. First, practice the 48-hour cooling rule. Whenever you feel an urgent impulse to change your financial strategy based on a warning or hot tip, you must wait 2 days. If the fear is still driving the car after 48 hours, then and only then can you look at the data. Second, audit the cost of convenience. Ask yourself, is this advice making me more capable or just more dependent on the person giving it to me? If the solution requires you to keep checking back with the guru to know what to do next, you aren't building wealth, you're building a cage. Third, flip the loss aversion switch. We are wired to feel the pain of losing $1,000 twice as intensely as the joy of gaining $1,000. When you hear scary advice, ask, what is the cost of doing nothing? Often, the safe path of staying paralyzed is the most expensive mistake you'll ever make. True financial mastery isn't about outsmarting the market, it's about outlasting your own impulses. Now for that industry tactic I mentioned. It's called the complexity moat. Gurus deliberately make the world seem more complicated than it is, so you feel unqualified to manage your own future. They build a moat of jargon and secret indicators to make sure you never realize the truth. Wealth is usually the result of doing very boring things for a very long time. They need you to believe it's a war because you don't hire a general during a time of peace. Stop looking for a savior and start looking at the math. The most profitable thing you can ever do is become the person who is too bored to be afraid.